Now, look, I don't know. I think I had two swims these holidays. I spent a bit of time in the water in the Tongariro River in my waders with my fishing line. But by the time I got to the Coromandel and up to Lang's Beach and stuff, to be honest, the weather was so crappy I did not get in the water. Which meant, I guess, I was at less risk, given my age and the fact that I'm a male, less risk of doing something stupid and getting in trouble. But it was not a summer without incident. Indeed, I've told you the story, was it Monday, how a rahui, after a drowning at Waihau Bay on the East Cape, led to the abandonment of a fishing trip I was going to go on. And that was after at Hicks Bay earlier on, a diver had failed to surface. We did an interview before the Christmas break. We did an interview where I said, unfortunately, predictably, we'll be reading news stories about people drowning and most of them accidents that could have been avoided. To find out how it was over summer in terms of water safety and water fatalities, we're joined now by Chaz Gibbons-Campbell, manager for the eastern region of Surf Lifesaving. Chaz, welcome to the platform. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, a busy time. I'll tell you what, I saw you guys doing great work at Mount Maunganui on Boxing Day, and that's one of the places I dipped myself in the water. Can I ask you, overall, when we look at the break, which I presume is now almost officially over or officially over, what were our stats overall? Was it a goodie or a baddie?
Yeah, so for my region, in the eastern region, I look after the Coromandel, Bay of Plenty and Gisborne areas. Yeah. And our lifeguards were certainly busy right across the region, especially in after-hours call-outs. Yeah. As you mentioned in the intro there, a number of fatalities as well in the Eastern Bay. It's certainly, something that we don't want to see. These things are preventable. We can do things that can keep us safe out there on the beaches. Swimming between the flags is really important. That's one of our key safety messages that we're trying to get out there.
Chaz, were the victims and those who got in trouble, did they follow the age-old or now the norm, older blokes getting in trouble?
Yeah, it was definitely older blokes. It's the ones that you mentioned were divers. And so I guess some messages and around some diving is, make sure that you've got some good communication. You're swimming with a mate or diving with a mate or surfing with a mate. Quite often these are things that we're, out enjoying ourselves recreationally. We're collecting kai moana. Yeah.
Chaz, could it have been worse? Did the message get through at all prior to Christmas? That's the other thing. Any changes in behaviour that are positive that your people saw?
Some really good messaging. We did see lots of good interaction from the public, heeding some of those really safety messages that we're pushing around the cyclone and the storm swells. Yeah, it's really important that those messages are heeded, especially with the changing environment that we're seeing. Some of the coastline at the moment has been really affected by erosion, and so the sand has actually changed a lot on beaches. Yeah. So people just, assess the conditions really, see what's happening at their local spots, take maybe 5-10 minutes to see what the water's doing, because quite high possibility it's changed in the last sort of week, 2 weeks.
I got to say, Chaz, when I'm fly fishing in a river, and I didn't used to do this, I now will come to a spot, look at a pool, or if I'm going to cross a river, I spend a couple of minutes just looking, just trying to figure out what's happening on a stretch of water, where the fish might be or where I might be in trouble if I cross or where the best place to cross is. And just sitting there watching water isn't a bad thing to do to get yourself in the right or into a safe zone, is it?
That's right, yeah. And it just takes that little bit of time just to assess what the conditions are doing, and that can make all the difference. Yeah. Quite often people swim in the calm patches that we see on oceans. That's quite often where
the rips
that's a dangerous spot. The rips are. So what you're looking for is actually those nice consistent waves across a sandbar. Is where you want to be. And obviously if you're in doubt, stay out. That's kind of the key messaging around that. Yeah. Especially at the moment with the swell that's coming in. we are seeing consistent swell, and so it's got a lot of wave energy in behind it. There is a lot of water moving around, and it can knock you off your feet quite easily.
Yeah, good for the surfers, though. Chaz, the other thing I'd ask you, it's not really over yet, because one can expect, and there seems to be a change almost in seasons. We've still got lots of hot weather ahead, and maybe even calmer weather ahead, so people are going to be hitting the beach in increasing numbers, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. It is pretty hot out there when the weather is good. And of course, after being cooped up inside for a few days or sometimes a week after all the rain, and it's sunny, first thing you want to do is hit the beach. And so, we are seeing large numbers of people as soon as the weather starts fining up. People are coming out. Our lifeguards are still on patrol across a lot of our beaches in the eastern region throughout the week. And then weekend patrols are covered by volunteers right across the country at a number of locations. And people can actually look that up online at safeswim.org.nz, which actually shows all the patrols and when they're on patrol, and you'll see little flags that pop up during the day, and lifeguards actually pop up little hazards and things.
Yeah, pretty active down at Oriental Bay in Wellington of late, I know, as I drive to and from. Not drive to work, but back from work, yeah.
Yeah, but of course, we're seeing a lot of people swimming at remote locations that aren't patrolled. The Instagram beaches, if you will. And these are still just as dangerous as the beaches that we're patrolling.
Yeah.
So it's really important that people are prepared when they go to the beach. They've got a form of flotation. They're ready to get in the water should their children get into trouble. And they've got a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we want you to come down between the flags and swim
as safe as possible.
With the lifeguard, essentially.
Yeah,
exactly.
Chaz, thank you for your service, for all your colleagues' service over the break, and thank you for joining us this morning. That is Chaz Gibbons-Campbell. He's the manager for Surf Lifesaving Eastern Region. Pretty busy all around the country, and not over yet. So do have fun in the water, but do what you order. That was the old catch cry, wasn't it?